Hey, today we're taking a look at Ezra's second lightsaber from Rebels, and we're checking out the new Xeno V3 app. Let's get at it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. Today we're taking a look at another version of Ezra's second green lightsaber. Now in Rebels he did have a couple of lightsabers. He did have that kind of blaster style one, but that blaster lightsaber does get ruined and he does make another one. So that is the lightsaber we're going to take a look at today, and then I'll line up all the lightsabers I have from Ezra and we'll take a look at the Ezra-lution of his lightsabers. Now this comes over to us from Vader Sabers. Thank you so much for sending this over for everybody to check out. I will put a direct link and discount code for everybody down in the description if you want to go check this out, and all of the other lightsabers they have. Plus, they also have my very own lightsaber design. This is the duality. You can also get this exclusively at Vader Sabers. So do head on over there and check out everything that Vader Sabers has to offer. They have a ton of accessories to go check out as well. Before we dig into this lightsaber, if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out and checking out this lightsaber. Please drop down, help support the channel by hitting the like, subscribe, and notification button, and leave some comments down below as well. And if you are a returning viewer and a friend of the channel, thanks so much for coming back and hanging out. Let's check out this lightsaber. All right, so in the box here, we obviously have the Ezra lightsaber. Now, what's really cool about this version is that they did go with that more green color. I know it's a little hard to see because I'm in a dark room, but that is a kind of like dark hunter green. Now, the first version of this lightsaber we took a look at wasn't green. They went with that more kind of real world, just aluminum, a lot more like what we see in the Ahsoka show when he's in the hologram there. You see this hanging from his belt, and it is just aluminum. It's not that green. So I want to call this the more cinematic version, I guess, since this is what we saw in live action. Now in the box we do get a second emitter. This one here is for display, and you could swap that out just like this, and you'll get a really nice display version, and you'll also have this version for the blade. Now, as we saw in the show, their lightsabers were kind of like toothpicks in the Rebels, which always drove me insane, but you're not really gonna get a lightsaber blade into that little thing. You might get a pen in there, but you're definitely not gonna get a blade in there. So you get this blade emitter to pop that on in there. And then we get your USB-C charging cable, Allen keys and extra retention screws, USB drive, and we do get a full manual to check everything out. Now this is a Xeno V3, so you do have a full manual here. However, recently within the last couple weeks of this video, the app was updated. So there is a new version. We'll take a quick peek at that as well. And we do have our pixel blade. This is a 7/8 pixel blade. It's about 32 inches. So really quick, just for fun, let's take a look at the Ezra-lution of these lightsabers. So we started out over here at the beginning of Rebels with his more blaster style staple gun that everybody calls staple gun lightsaber here. Now this was so different from every lightsaber I think we've ever seen, and I always just want to go around my house and staple stuff with this thing. What was really cool about this lightsaber is that it was so different. It had the blade that would come out, and it also had a blaster. That was really cool and very different about this lightsaber, so I really dug that, even though it looked like a staple gun. Now after this one was destroyed, he does come back with his green lightsaber. This blade was blue, and this one he comes back with is green. It had that more kind of greenish, hunter green kind of dark shell over here, and we had the button and a control box, which was completely different from his first version. And then as we know, that got passed down to Sabine, which was kind of the same lightsaber. There was a couple of these little greebly thingies added on. We still have that red switch there, but she added these shrouds at the top. But overall, you can see that they're virtually the same lightsaber. She just did a tiny little modification on the emitters here. And the style of the pommels are slightly different. The same, but slightly different. On his Rebel saber here, these lines were more square, and on the Sabine version, these were more like lines and bubbles. I mean, she may not have actually added these, now that I think about it. This may have just been what Ezra's lightsaber looked like in cinema, you know, so this might have just been the design they went with. She may not have added that, but she definitely added the shrouds, because we do see this hanging from his belt in the hologram. And then finally, in the Ahsoka show, when Sabine does hunt Ezra down, Ezra does pop into Hu Yang's little shack of lightsaber parts, and he does construct a new lightsaber, basically based on the look of Kanan's lightsaber. So let's dig on into the Rebels version 2 lightsaber, I guess we can call it, Ezra's second lightsaber. I'm trying to shine a light on it so you can see that this is a bit more green. Let me see if I can zoom in. Now again, I am in a dark room, but I think you can see that this is more of a hunter green next to this black here. Now again, I always love when they give us a display emitter here. So let me just show you a close-up of that. This makes it just a lot more, realistic and more prop-like when you want to display it on your shelf or anything. I just really love, rather than a stupid blade plug, they just give you a swap out so that it does look like a movie prop. Now over here we do have the proper gold ring. The last version of this did not come with this gold ring. So I really like that they included that rather than having to paint it later on. And then we have this, looks like the activation button here. This doesn't do anything, it is just the control box there for show, which at times does get in the way of your hand, but this actually doesn't seem too bad. Even like directly into my palm, it's pretty smooth around the edges, but long term, I don't know if that would just cut into you if you're really kind of hammering away at this. But this is actually pretty smooth around the edges. There's really nothing super sharp or anything here. So even these red switches here, many times these are so sharp at the edge, but these are very rounded off. Let me see if I can get a close-up of that. You can see that it's very rounded off, so it's really quite comfortable. And then down here we do have our fully removable chassis. We have our USB-C charging port there. We have a kill switch right at the top. Now this is lined with LEDs, so I'll light that up in a second for you, just in case you haven't seen one. And on the back we have our SD card. Now here's your little power button.
Power on.
All right, and you can see that we are fully lit all around. Now this is not a 2-button setup, even though it's a button and a toggle. This is a Xeno V3 and they're pretty much just 1-button setups. Now I don't know if you get this as a Profi, if it'll be set up as a 2-button setup, as a button and a toggle for secondary and main, or if it's just gonna be programmed as a single button. That would be kind of cool though if it was programmed as 2, but I don't have that Profi on hand to test that out. So if you happen to have this, or you happen to know if this is programmed as a 2-button, do leave that down in the comments. So the one thing I want to do and show you is the updated Xeno V3 app, the Xeno Configurator app. They completely overhauled this whole thing. Now everything has this kind of matrix kind of look to it. But let's go over this whole thing. We do have the kyber crystal out front that's now the power button. But let's get this thing connected. Let's click on our top here. It's searching for a saber. Here it is. Confirm.
App connected.
All right. Now, if you remember, the last version had everything right on the front here. You would scroll up, you had your colors, everything was just laid out in front. There was your estimated power level that was here, so you can kind of get an idea of what was left in the battery. They did remove that, and I'm wondering if this little line here, these 4 lines, I wonder if that's now the power level. And as we fiddle around with this, we're gonna take a quick look at that every now and then and see if those lines do go down. Now, unlike the last version, you would scroll up and you'd have all your color options and everything down here, but you now have to click on this and it's now a drop-down window. So your color palettes that were here are now over here. And then down over here on the bottom right, we do have our volume rather than it being in the middle. So let's lower this down to, I don't know, about like 20%. And our kyber crystal in the middle is our power. Now, that is really cool. I like the fact that the crystal lights up when it turns on and off. But ultimately, it's virtually the same. Over here, you have your saber. You can go into your saber. You have all your updating. This software is out of date, so let's update here. And then update. We should be on 1.2.5, and this came with 1.2.2. So let's just run that update real quick. Now the app I really do like. It's very, very useful. I don't use it for play or anything, but updating your software like this and adjusting your blade style and making all your upfront configurations on an app rather than like Profi, you got to throw it in the computer, hook it up, go through errors. Profi is just always a nightmare for me. I know a lot of you guys love it, and it's a great board. It's just not for me. I want my blades to turn on and swing it around, take good photos and stuff like that. And Xenos and SNV4s and GHV3 is my favorite board. I wish they would bring those back, but having this app on the Xeno is extremely useful.
Update successful.
All right, there we go. We are fully updated. It's super easy, and I love that about this app. Now, what we got to do is go back, and we got to turn everything back on, because when it does reboot, it turns everything off, so you have to switch everything back on.
Power on.
All right.
App connected.
Oh, it's already connected. All right, perfect. A bunch of you had asked me, where did all the stuff go? So yes, it is up here in the tabs. They got rid of it in front, which, you know, it's fine because it's hidden and it's all there. The app is virtually exactly the same. So let's turn this on. We have all of our audition of effects and everything right here. Just like we had before, they're just up here in this tab. Let's go into tab 2, turn this back on, and adjust my blade length. All right, that should be good. You can save that right there on the top right. And then I usually go down here about halfway down. Countdown, the countdown will turn on an extra beep on the hilt itself. So when you're using it without the app, you'll know where you are in the menu. There's 4 menu sets. So let's turn that on. And that's honestly about it. That's really all I do. Everything else I do right on here. Again, we have all of our auditions right here, and then our color palette is right down here. Same exact thing, live preview. We have our number adjust right here. And these are the same thing. We have our infinite color, which will scroll through the colors. And then next to that, we have quick color, where it will just bang on some of the hard colors rather than fading through a full color spectrum. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the same now. Down over here, we can click on that. You'll see there's a number. It's on 9. Let's get rid of that. 9, that's the font that we're on. So you can scroll through the fonts. We have our settings up here. Our hum effects, so it's on that. Change that. All the different blade styles. And when you sort through these, some of these have a couple of different options, like blasters, clash light effects, which is flash on clash. So like I was saying, I don't really use the app when I am fiddling around with these lightsabers because everything is in here. Now, when I turned on that countdown in the Xeno app, that allowed a secondary beep sound to come on here. So you'll hear a bloop, doop. So that first beep is that countdown setting. There's 4 menus. We have your volume, blade style, blade ignition, and then fonts. So the first one is volume.
Mute. Volume high.
And you have those 3 volume settings. You have high, low, and mute. All right, so we do have our twist on and twist off. We have our blaster deflex, flash on clash. We have our lockup. You can flip it on upside down and flip through your fonts. Turn it counterclockwise.
Horizon. The dark sword.
So let's change the blade style on the Darksaber. I like the fire blade for this one. So we're gonna go to the second tab. 1, 2.
Fire blade.
There we go. Yeah, I like that one much better for, see that? I like that twinkly look rather than that stroby look. Now you can even change the colors on the hilt. It's super simple. You're gonna hold upside down and you can either twist it to the left or twist it to the right. Twisting it counterclockwise will give you the quick color change, and twisting it clockwise will give you the infinite color. So hold your button, twist to your left.
Color change.
So now we're in the quick. Now I always have to say, swinging these thinner neck things around is pretty comfortable. And the reason for that is that that's usually where my thumb hangs out, and this switch and the control box is just not getting in my way at all. So I was messing around with the Saber for about 15 minutes or so, and on the app here, that battery power did go down a notch. So I think it's safe to say that that is the battery indicator. So they did get rid of the big circular battery indicator and compressed everything down and put everything up here in this tab. So we have the battery power over here and all your effects and all your colors and everything in this little drop down. All right, that is it, my friends. That is Ezra's second lightsaber from Vader Sabers. Thank you so much to Vader Sabers for sending this over for everybody to check out. I'll put a discount code and link down below if you want to check this out and all of the other stuff that Vader Sabers has to offer. Drop down below. Let me know what you all think of this lightsaber and the new Xeno V3 app. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I've got a ton of lightsabers and figures coming along. I will see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.